In our recent trip to Abilene, one of the top places on my list that I wanted to visit was Frontier, Texas. It's only one of a few museums in the world that feature life-size holographic figures, which you'll see here in this video. It's pretty exciting and I highly recommend the visit. There are exhibits that feature the frontier of Texas between 1780 and 1880, and the featured people in the holograms pop up and tell you their story, which I thought was very impressive. So highly recommend a visit, and I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks for watching.
As you move through this adventure, you're going to get the chance to meet some amazing people. You'll stand at that line that divided the whites and the Indians.
Our hearts. When the whites came, they did not understand our language or our symbols.
Sometimes that line even divided the Indians.
They say I have killed more white people than any other Indian on the plains. I hope it is true.
You'll meet some people who crossed the line and didn't want to come back.
Though I was born in the world of the whites, I am Comanche. My life with the Numina is everything. And the mainstay of our lives will always be the buffalo.
Look for the man more responsible than anyone for wiping out the buffalo.
We killed them shaggies by the tens of thousands. Even millions, I guess.
There'll be settlers who saw this country as empty and free for the taking by anyone with guts and gumption. It was a time of bloody conflict, a time when both whites and Indians were murdered and scalped, and the law was nowhere to be found.
I suppose the Indians of the outlaws got him. One as bad as the other. No. White outlaws was worse. Couldn't tell they was bad just by looking.
More than once, our patrols passed Indian bands with white captives crying and pleading for the soldiers to rescue them. Our men did some crying too, but they still weren't allowed to interfere.
The way I saw it, freighting would be the lifeblood of the frontier. So I started my own freight business between Weatherford, Fort Richardson, Belknap, and Griffin.
Even with a few early settlers coming in, this was still a wide open land, especially with the buffalo mostly gone. That opened up a whole new kind of opportunity. Cattle, wild longhorns, and trail drives to get them to market.
I mean, you just lived on a horse. We called it putting out to sea because the prairie was like a mighty ocean. It was hard, dangerous work.
That's George Reynolds. He was the first to drive cattle to market on what would later become famous as the Goodnight Loving Trail. In fact, that trail ran right through the spot where we are today. With all the mix of buffalo hunters, cowboys, soldiers, and settlers, little ramshackle camps and settlements started sprouting up around the forks and the main trail crossings. There were wild places, saloons, gambling dens, you name it. There were good people, bad people, and some who seemed to move back and forth. You might have heard of some of the names: Wyatt, Bat Masterson, and Doc Holliday. And you're going to meet the man who killed the most famous outlaw in the West.
When a voice whispered, "Pete," I knew it was Billy. And I shot him. Shot him in the dark.
In this place are stories. Some from tribes and languages long forgotten. Pictures of the old. Hunting the buffalo in the time before the horse. Stalking him on foot, bow and arrow. Talking to the sun, our father. Asking for ruha, the medicine power that makes us strong. The paintings here, other places across the plains, were drawn to remind us of our stories. We made no written word. Our stories are passed from generation to generation by word of mouth. From old to young, we tell these stories in the long nights of winter in places like this.
How can a boy become a man unless he fights? Unless he is willing to give up his life for our people? If he shows that he will die before giving up, he is Kluksta. A true horse, one who never gives up. All our chiefs have been warriors. They have proven themselves in battle and have brought honor to our people. I am chief because I fight.
After the Civil War, the Army became the enforcer of national policy, and our job was to incorporate this area into the nation. Because settlers had moved well beyond our original forts, we built a new line of forts, which included Fort Richardson, Fort Griffin, and Fort Concha. Our mission was to enforce Indian treaties, keep things safe for settlers, and encourage commerce.
Welcome to the BI Saloon. I'm just filling in here for Dutch. He's eating over at Skeeter's tent. Name's Pat Garrett. Gonna get right to it. I guess I'm best known for shooting Billy the Kid. Lots of things happened before me and Billy met in that pitch black room where I had about 2 seconds to kill Billy before he killed me first. So that's what I did. I come to Texas from Alabama after the Civil War. I'd done a bit of drifting. Lots of us did. Those of us who made it to this old Texas frontier were a rough lot, I guess. We lived off Mother Nature, and sometimes she was a stingy mama, and she made you rough. Spent lots of nights here at the old beehive, just below Fort Griffin. And Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday spent a lot of time here too, playing cards with cowboys, and buffalo hunters, soldiers from Griffin. But back then, I was a buffalo hunter. You know? You've seen those little Sharps buffalo guns like I used to shoot buffs for the Skinners. I come down from Dodge City. I hunted all over this country. And I could tell you some scary stories about how the Comanches chased us hunters back in the Rise City, Griffin now and then, but most folks just want to hear about Billy the Kid. Well, you'll likely hear plenty of versions of this story, but I'm the man who lived it, so let me get on to it. Well, it was like this. After the buffalo played out, I drifted on out to Lincoln County, New Mexico. Had me a bar there, kind of like this old beehive. Yeah. Billy was a customer, even a friend, sort of. Nice enough fellow. He was a gun hand. Senorita sure liked him. Well, little guy, but he weren't no wet mop. I mean, he'd shoot you faster than you could say Jimmy Crack corn. But except for stealing now and then, and of course, killing all those people. Didn't seem like a bad fellow. Some of those folks he shot, probably he deserved it. Anyway, folks in New Mexico got fed up with all the fighting. They hired me as sheriff. Told me to bring in Billy, dead or alive. Well, I trailed him for a good while down to Fort Sumner. Rode up to the house of Pete Maxwell, a friend of Billy's, at night, and thought I'd slip in, see if Billy was around. Of course, I had my pistol and a shotgun, you know, like the kind they carried on the Butterfield stagecoaches. Oh, it was pitch black inside an adobe house. And I heard a bed creak as somebody got up. And I eased the hammers back on that gauge. Made tiny clicks. Of course, in that dark, quiet room, sounded like you hit a skillet on an anvil. And I could just feel a gun pointed at me from across the room in the blackness. And a voice whispered, "Pete." I knew it was Billy. And I shot him. Shot him in the dark.